Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Carl again. I decided to change the way I look at things. That's why I'm using this three-windowed approach. I'm using a 30-second, a 1 minute, and a 5 minute time frame. I'm going to try to use 30 seconds to fine-tune my entries, the 1 minute and 5 minute for confluence of what I think the trend is. I played around with a couple other things too. I decided I would try a combo strategy in Webull. Basically, I called it my own damn strategy. All it does is compare the trend to what it's expecting, and it does that. Gives me all red if it's expecting it's a downtrend, gives me all green for an uptrend, or nothing if it's really not sure. So that's that. I'll turn it off because it does make the chart look kind of confusing, but big deal. I'll turn it off right here. That might actually help me. Uh, I'm just using the EMA 9, EMA 20, and levels that I've already marked on the chart. That's it. Not sure why the levels don't appear on the 30-second chart, but big deal. These blue lines are the pre-market high and low, which of course it should be pretty well established by now. The 5 minute chart, we can see where that range was from 613 to 617, about a $4 range, not bad. I can already see with a couple levels that I have marked here, if it breaks above this one, the 615, what is that? Let's just say 615.05. I can expect it will probably hit 616.92 or possibly even 617.51, which would be the high of the opening range. I'm only a sniper, or sorry, I'm only a scalper. Forget about what I think about my enemies. So all I try to do is get in a good entry and ride the wave. Let's see what happens once it hits 9 o'clock. Of course, I'll have to make it so I can see some of the contracts here. Even though I would think it's on an uptrend, the price is not, the EMA 9 is not above the EMA 21. So that little combo strategy I was using would probably not tell me that it's in an uptrend yet. And it did not. 9:30, let's see what's going on. It did spike up, so perhaps I'm going to get a call option here. 70, that does not look bad. It's bouncing down. Let's see what happens. Three things can happen. I see it's in a downtrend allegedly. Okay, it looks like it really is in a downtrend. So I can just join in or wait. It's trying to establish an opening range. It's a healthy thing to wait the full 15 minutes, but since I'm a scalper, I like to jump on an early trend. That looks like that is one. Nope, not yet. Where are we? Let's see what the orders are. Do I have any working? No. 76, 77. Buy at market. Moving pretty quickly. Finally, I got one of my orders filled. If the trend goes against me, that would be sad. So far, I've made about 10%. I think my first target is 610.59. I'm at 14%. It's still within the opening range, though, so it could go against me. 5 minute confirms that we're in a downtrend. This wick up here tells me maybe it is in a downtrend, but I can't be sure. Now you see I'm already at more than a 20% loss. I should have gotten out the position at 20%, but I'll see how this plays out. 20% might be too tight a stop loss when I'm scalping, especially when I took an entry prematurely while it was still in the opening range. This one, I believe we're going to lose at 50%. It's probably going to hit this 615. What is it? 615, 19. If it doesn't reject there for liquidity, it's going to continue going higher to fully establish the 15-minute opening range. What I see here is it's at the low end of the pre-market range. These blue lines, there's the high, there's the low of the pre-market. Since it's down at the low end, either it will consolidate or it may break down below. Who knows? Let's watch. Make this a little wider here. Same thing with this one. That's the opening range. Or, sorry, the pre market range. The purple is the opening range, which it's 9:38, still has 7 minutes left to go. The opening range, I would speculate, is fairly wide, from 611.29 to 615.11. This purple area is the 15-minute opening range. It's 9:41. We have 4 more minutes. It's at the middle of the opening range. If the momentum stays, it probably will break up out of it. We are down below the halfway point of the pre-market range. The 30-second and the 1 minute charts are showing we're on an uptrend, which is probably likely since I see my 9 period EMA is up now above the 20 period EMA. The 5 minute chart doesn't reflect that because, of course, that's a 45-minute period for the 9 EMA and it's still below the 21. Would take a little bit more price action to change that. That being said, without red, which I just got right there, and it's appearing and disappearing, that's telling me I can't really confirm that we're in a downtrend. It isn't green, which is promising, so I'll just have to ignore the noise on the 30-second and the 1 minute and play the long game. Let's see if I get a couple more red backgrounds here, which will indicate that the price is below the 9 period EMA and the 9 period EMA is down below the 21, which would indicate overall a downtrend. Ideally, I'd like the 1 minute chart to agree with the 5 minute chart. Notice the volume is tapering off, so there's a lot of indecision. Um, Buyers and sellers fighting for control. This is a Wednesday. Not that that has that much to do with it, but you notice we've just broken down below for a split second the opening range, or sorry, the pre-market range. These blue lines trace out the pre-market high and low beginning at 4 a.m. up until the market opens at 9:30 a.m. And we've just dipped below that pre-market range, which usually signals that there's probably a downtrend at play. I guess I should make a note that on days like Wednesdays, I should probably wait for the full opening range to establish itself before considering a trade. This purple region here is the opening range. Again, 611.29 up to 615.11. And we're basically dead in the middle of the opening range. That middle line happens to coincide with the low of the pre-market range, and it's dancing around a level prices bounced off of previously, which I'd marked. I took a very early entry, and I will just have to wait this one out. Yes, I lost already much more than a 20%. However, a 20% stop loss is kind of tight when you're scalping. That's why I don't automatically use one. I would manually control the position, but let's see what happens. I won't let the account go to zero. Let's see if it bounces off of that level, which is marked there. Maybe it breaks out of the opening range, which is the purple. I can make things a little bit more clear. I don't need to see the contracts anymore. I've already bought one. So I'll give myself a little more screen real estate. We're just back down below the pre-market range. Looking at the volume, there is significant volume with sellers. That can, of course, change, but I'm just looking at our opening range low. If it goes down below that and we have an opening range breakout, I'll be satisfied. The first target is very close by, which is 610.87. I should see if we have another one close by. 606.94 is quite a ways away. I would just watch it and react accordingly. These candles over here, the wicks of them, show me that there could be a liquidity sweep at play. The strong body over here tells me that could be the case. At the moment, even the 30-second chart is showing me that the blue one, the EMA 9, is down below the 20 period EMA. Price is below both of them, and price is below the pre market range, as well as it broke down below the opening range. Typically, they would call that an opening range breakout. You notice it's kind of bouncing off of this one level I have marked, the 610.75. If it goes down below that, I'll play it by ear. Maybe I'll go, instead of being in a loss, maybe by 610.04, I might be at a slight profit. As a scalper, I'd like to get at least a 20% profit, but I'm going to follow this and wait it out. Price action could change, but when all three of these time frames are in agreement, it tells me that I'm probably on the right track. It appears to respect this level. There's one thing which I haven't figured out, and that's how come on the 30-second chart, the levels that I've marked, which appear clearly on all others, 1 minute, 5 minute, if I make it a 1 hour chart, they appear. It does not have them shown on the 30-second chart. It's just a curiosity, that's all, but it could be of importance. Now, if you see I'm at 17%, I'd like to get at least 20%, which we have here. Um, I could probably tell it to close out the position or wait longer. I'll say close by stop loss and take profit. Um, plus 11, plus 16. So the stop price I'll put at 90 maybe. Take profit I'll have to put quite a bit higher. What I'm doing is the equivalent of doing a trailing stop loss. I just keep updating the price to be a little higher. I didn't update it that fast, but it took profit for me. So where am I? Orders filled. I bought it at 78. I had a stop set if it dropped back down to $1. Um, it sold for 112. So let's see what that was. I know there's fees and all, but I'll just divide 112 by 78, and it says 1.435. So that's about a 43% gain. Not bad. Uh, Started at 9:30, went to 10:03. So I made 43%. Now, I did take a terrible entry in the beginning, and the theta, I'm sure, killed part of my position. But if you notice, I did not have a level marked down below here, and that's why I got out. Uh, you see how it wicked down, and that level probably will be important. It might match up with something at some other point on the chart. Let's take a look just out of curiosity. I will close two of these. Didn't tell me which two it would close, but that's okay. I will put this to be the 1 minute. This I will make be, let's say, 1 hour. Yeah, it looks terrible with all these different levels and the indicators I have going on here. Forgive me for that, but I'm just a little curious. Do I have any other levels marked here? Let's see. From the past. 608.98, 608, anywhere there was some activity here where it seemed to respond. Would that have been higher up? I guess I can take some time later and go on a much bigger chart without all of my crazy indicator stuff on it. I guess that'll be that. My chart looks crazy, I know. But what I try to do is I try to mark things with dotted lines. I mark the previous day's high, the previous day's low, the previous day's close, if it's not already matched by something else that I marked. Then I try to find on the 1 minute, or sorry, the 5 minute chart, the 1 hour chart, 4 hour chart. I try to find areas where the price is hit and rejected, whether it be from something people would call a supply zone or a demand zone. Um, Basically, I look for places the price has bounced off of more than once, and I say, gee, there must be something going on there. Maybe there's pending orders and whatever else I might not understand. But the point is, those levels give me some kind of reference. Now, I'm lazy, so I don't like to chase prices. So starting at 4 a.m., I have it automatically drawing these lines with the indicator, and it finds what the highs and lows are of the pre-market range. This purple is as soon as it opens at 9:30, it automatically starts marking out the high and low of the opening range. That gives me a good reference. These blue lines here, light blue, tell me the pre-market range was there. The opening range opened at the low end of it. As soon as price dipped down below both of those, it confirmed, yes, we were in a downtrend. Can't say how strong the downtrend was, but I'm not trying to predict. I'm just trying to ride a wave and hop off before it crashes on me. I don't even know how to surf, and that's probably a good thing, but for scalping, I think it works out pretty well. I've already made my 43%. I'm just taking a look to see if it bounces off of any of these levels. If it does, the breakout and retest of the opening range. Sometimes it breaks out, goes into the opening range, and completely reverses direction. Does that seem likely today? Not really. Um, I haven't read the news, but such a dramatic drop tells me that doesn't look good. Um, the pre-market high was 617, and it's dropped down to 609 during the session. So we'll just have to see what happens. Maybe there have been some good news announcements, whichever, but if I had more money available, I would in fact see if I saw the EMA's change position. The 9 was above the 25. Price was above both of those. Maybe even price was above this yellow one, which is the volume weighted average price. I would say, hey, the tides have turned. Maybe it's time to get into a call, which it could be. Um, I have one more thing I'm going to put back on the screen just for the sake of reasoning, which is my own damn strategy. It'll highlight and tell me, are we in a downtrend or an uptrend? Even though it looks like we're going up, these red tell me, well, overall we're in a downtrend. We, of course, don't need to sit here and watch this because I'm not in an active trade right now. But a little bit of patience and reasoning helped me take what would have ordinarily been a losing position for me in the past because I entered too quickly. It helped me convert that into a winning trade just because of patience and time. I'll take away my little strategy confirmation. It doesn't really matter. I'll watch this for a few more minutes to see if this turns out to be a breakout and retest. That would be confirmed if the price drops back down below the 608.29 or the range of 610 anyway, and continues down towards a 606.94. These wicks tell me that the sellers are all waiting there, waiting for people to try to buy, and they're pushing the price down. Maybe there's a lot of pending orders. Who knows? If they get exhausted and there's a lot of buyers waiting there, it would tell us who's really in charge. I see the 9 and the 20 EMAs are almost crossing over each other on the 1 minute chart, which would indicate an uptrend. I think my combo strategy, the rules I've given it, would not show this is an uptrend yet, but I might as well try to add it to the 1 minute chart. Combo strategy, my own strategy. And you notice it does not. If you're interested in what that strategy is, basically all I did was tell it change the background to be red if the EMA 9 is less than the 20 period EMA, and the last price of QQQ is less than the 9 EMA. That would tell me it's bearish or red. I have the background changed to green if EMA 9 is greater than EMA 20, and if QQQ's price is also above the EMA 9. And that's it. Why? Because sometimes I might get a little nervous while I'm looking at these different crossover lines, etc. It might be kind of hard to see, but using this, I don't need to. Why is there nothing shown here? Because it doesn't meet all of those terms, which tells me do nothing. I don't know. It's highlighting that we're in a downtrend once again over here. The 5 minute is very important because time rules all. So I bet if I put it over here, it will tell me that, yes, we're still in a downtrend as well. And we have been for the past 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35 minutes, which makes sense. It's 10:14 going on 10:15. And yeah, we've been pretty much on a downtrend. Just so you know, as a scalper, I believe in getting in and out of the trades very quickly. I did it sloppily today, so I had to wait around longer than I wanted to. This should also explain to you why I think it's not a good idea to automatically set a take profit and stop loss. Because if I had, I would have been kicked out and I would have actually seen the price go in the direction I originally chose, which was a put, and I would have lost on an opportunity. So instead of losing 20, 30, or 40 or 50% as you saw I could have, just watched my analysis and let it play out. And I wound up with a 43% gain. And if you notice, I was not too greedy. I tried to do my version of a trailing stop loss, which is merely manually tell it to close the position with a take profit, which is in a profitable position, and a stop loss, which was also in profit. This way, I would lock in whatever profit I already had, and if the price made a sudden drop, I wouldn't be stuck trying to close it and losing out. Well, I guess you get the drift. There's different tools that can be used on the Weibo platform. There's different strategies you can use to trade. I should have been patient. I'm glad that I made a terrible entry and jumped in too soon in the opening range, which is from 9:30 to 9:45 Eastern Standard. Ordinarily, even if I'm really excited to trade, what I'm supposed to do is look at the chart while the opening range is being established. Either I see a strong trend that's a continuation of the trend I see in the pre-market hours, and I hop on board and ride it all the way up or down, or I see no trend and I wait for one to be established, in which case you might see a lot of consolidation and not even get a position to enter within the first 15 minutes, in which case I would revert to the opening range breakout or breakout and retest. Pretty simple. It's either you can take a trade, you can wait to take a trade, or you can merely wait and do nothing. that is a safe choice. I don't like to stare at the chart for hours at a time since I'm a scalper. I also don't like it when I make bad entries. So that is a lesson to me. When I make a bad entry, I have to follow it through. While I'm running my mouth, this has taken quite a long time, but it looks to me as if what we saw was an opening range breakout and a retest on the low end of the opening range, of course, which is still way down below the pre-market low, which is this blue line. Pre-market range is here. So it tells me we probably are in a longer downtrend. I've already closed out my position. I've made a profit. What would I be crying about? Nothing. Hindsight is always better, but guess what? I won't have hindsight tomorrow. I will only have the chart right in front of me as it unfolds. Well, happy trading. Happy listening to me. Thanks. And thanks for helping me trade options. That's what this website is all about. I try to be open, win or lose, for good or for bad, and maybe you can give me some tips. Helpmetradeoptions.com. Okay, till next time.